All right, my friends, here we are at the famous Dojo Graduation Show. We've been doing this show for a very long time. And let's get to it. I'm not sure I'm going to finish today. I have ink on my hand. The Chump GM spilled all over itself. I also got chided for calling myself Chump GM. All right. 1357 Prime says Jesse G hit texted me that he can't find your Monday video, not the money video, but the Monday video. I actually had a different question too from somebody, and I don't know where it is. I asked Jack, and he hasn't gotten back to me. So Dud says, "Why do I think this is pre-recorded?" This isn't pre-recorded, buddy. Sorry, 1357 Prime. Jeez. Okay, so refresh. Let's see here what we got. Now I gotta go set up El YouTube situation 2. Get this started. All right, one watching on YouTube. No one's watching on YouTube these days. It used to be a thing. Okay, so let's get to it. Again, I might not finish today. If I don't, I always do it the next day. And we have an interesting person here, Flanker. He says, Dojo tactics tests were the most difficult for me. Interesting because I know that Flanker signed up for the game and review, I believe. And then I haven't seen Flanker. So it's been kind of a confusing situation over at the dojo. Wait, is that true? Yeah, he's been as part of this group, but he hasn't shown up to the classes. All right, so let's go take a look at what's going on with Flanker. As you can see, he's playing a bunch, and maybe he's waiting to get a game before he joins the group or something, but you don't have to have a game right away, and he's got no games. So Flanker, what you need to do, it's actually a really good thing, is if you show up to a game in review. If you show up to a game in review and maybe you're uncomfortable doing an annotation, whatever, they will help you. And not only that, but you'll just be able to witness them doing it kind of real time, right? Okay, so Flanker, we're hoping to see you. Congratulations on the graduation. I'm having a noise problem over here. Hold on. I have fixed my noise problem. Next up is Phil Simpson. Phil Simpson doesn't seem like he's got... Wait a sec. How come it says there's 26 games annotated by Flanker? It's a real problem. Games. There's 0 games in here. No games. No games. So I don't know what's going on. This is still messed up, basically. It's still messed up. Okay. So Phil Simpson. Let's see. It looks like there's no games here either, but congratulations. We're going to give a heart here. Do we got games? See, look, it doesn't make any sense. We do have a game, though. This was submitted recently. Maybe click briefly on clubs. No clubs. All right, annotated game. This is the same one, I believe. First, we'll take a look. No time. So it's a 15 plus 10. Now, I am going to look at this game, but in general, this is too fast, Phil Simpson. It should be a minimum of 30. But at 15-10, it's kind of close enough, Jesse. Leave him alone. All right. So far, so good. No problems. A3. A little soft, not developing. Good move. Okay, good move. A little weird. Queen takes d6 is more normal, but there's nothing wrong. b4, your opponent is not developing. Castles, good move. b5, not developing. Now we say check to the miserable king. Good move. Takes, and you say e takes d5 and say, not sure why that was a mistake. All right, I'm not sure it's a mistake, honestly. I think it's a very interesting move. Maybe the computer said it was a mistake. I don't know. So the benefit of pawn takes pawn is that you have some nice square control here, and you're looking to do this to him. Knight d5 also looked like a good move. The problem for white is they aren't developing their pieces. Very typical for this level. Now, knight c4, let's stress, not a good move primarily because you're helping white develop their coconuts. What's strong? Rook c8. Give him a whack. All right. Fine. Poor, not developing. Queen d7. Put that bishop deep inside the white position. All right. This would be very helpful, by the way, if we could know what the time situation here was. a4, not great. Rook e6 is interesting. The simple way to play chess is to put your rook behind the passed pawn. Okay. That doesn't look right, no. a6, kind of fun. b6, now you're doing well. I like it. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but it looks good. That wasn't good. Trading off our beautiful bishop. All right, he doesn't see it. Now he goes here. Weird. Queen e4, good move. Queen d7. And now rook h4, very nice move. Congratulations. Welcome to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo. So, Phil, in that game, you encountered a couple things you're going to see again. One, you saw somebody that didn't develop their pieces. Be really great to see what the times were, because I need to see who was thinking, if at all. And you showed really good skill with rook h4, which for somebody at your level, they don't usually see that. So that's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to mark this as reviewed. And that was Phil Simpson. Jimmy Mazur. Okay, you know what I got to do, though? I'm going to got to talk to our dev team because this thing is not getting fixed. And I got to talk to him. Jimmy Mazur's next. See, it says there's no games. We're going to find out if that's true. He just joined. Let's give him a follow. Clubs. Nothing. Games. See, look, it said 0, and he's got all kinds of games. All right, it looks like there's one here. Jimmy Mazur. Ooh, and this isn't annotated, unfortunately. So I'm not going to cover games that aren't annotated. Let's go back. And then the other games are the 1510s. And we really want games that are higher than 1510. And we also need annotations. Now, Jimmy, you might just, I have a feeling you got here kind of recently to the dojo, and maybe you just uploaded these games, haven't annotated them yet. Fine, right? In general, we want, like, at least for your level, a 30-0 and some annotations. By the look of it, though, you're going to graduate again soon. Well, we'd think. Maybe. Well, we think you're going to go soon. Okay. Next up, we got Patrick. Patrick W. Give him a follow. So, just joined, working pretty hard. You can see they joined and are at it. Already graduated twice. That's what happens when you join the dojo, my friends. Does he got any clubs? No. Does he got some games? Loads of games. All right, let's take a look. All right. Now, time graph. Uh-oh. Well, this is a short one. Let's take a look. Fine. Little funky now. You snip. Fine. Little funky. Good. Oh, Lordy. And then he abandoned the game. Oh. Now, I want to say, You have played a beautiful game up to this point, but one thing maybe to the move, obviously it's a little sad just to go over a 9-move game, but I want to stress that the move b3 should not cross your mind, okay? There's several problems with the move b3. One, I really don't believe black is in a position to take this pawn. Okay, that's number one. Why? Because he's not developed his king as a mess. The next thing about b3, though, is you're setting up the opportunity to do this, and we just don't want to see it. We just don't want to be looking at that at all. Okay, so the moves that come to mind are knight b5 and castles. Both of those moves look very strong. Black has no business taking your coconut because you're about to play knight b5 and you're going to go after that king. This guy's hanging too. Holy moly. Right? Yeah. So, this guy, I like it that when we go back, he's done already, just joined recently, but doing a lot of work. So, that is good. Let's continue. Now we got Marco. Marco also joined recently. The Discontent, that's his name, on the Discord. You can see he's graduated a couple times already. We got some clubs. Oh, he's in Toronto. Okay. And we got some games. All right, let's check it out. So, time graph, looking good from him and his opponent. Okay, so I say this every graduation show. One of the key problems we see in a chess player's development is the inability to use time, to use that muscle, instead making impulsive moves. So this is already a really good sign. All right, we'll mark it as reviewed, and we'll put it into the old game review thing that I'm going to have to make sure I get these windows out correctly. There we go. All right, so let's get to it. Weird. Thank you. You're going to get people who give you a lot of material. Now, he goes knight e5, and here you make an instructive mistake. This mistake, by the way, I would say it's one of the key beginner mistakes that people make. It's a pattern. I feel like when I play simuls, it happens all the time. And the engine points it out to you with queen h5, boom, and boom. So in that case, f6 is a mistake. And, knight f6 would be a natural move to play. You're just up a pawn. Oh, I got to get my little video on there. Where's my video, bud? Hold on, I got to grab my video. This isn't fun. All right, let's grab the video, and then I'm going to answer Caps Chess's question and all that. So let's go over here. Let's go over here. Ba-bam. Chess Destroyer. Thank you for rating us, buddy. All right, so now I need to move this, and we'll make a little jadoobies. Can we make a jadoobies, please? Whoop. That's a pretty good jadoobies as far as jadoobies go. So we have the question, will I be doing all the grads or just the under 1,000? I'm going to get as far as I can get. I think I have a good hour left in me. Let's go take a look. So if we go back here, now I got to change the scene. If we go back here, we only have, we have 23 people. 2 people have contacted me and said they didn't actually want to go. So we have a little less than that. So I'll get pretty deep into it today. I might finish it today. So I realize that wasn't the answer you're looking for, but I will, let's say tentatively, that I'll finish today. Tentatively. Okay. So go back to game review. F6. Like I said, there's these patterns that you learn, and this is one of them. Your opponent does think on it. He just doesn't see queen h5. Good move. I like this move, e5. Good. Thank you very much. Queen takes d5. Well, both moves are fine. Good move. Fine. Fine. Good. Okay. Good move. You're developing nicely. Now I want you to move the knight on g8. That's what I want. And now knight e3. Very nice. Well done. Yeah. So you call this a double question mark, but I think he is going to lose he's going to get a rook and a piece for the minor no matter what, right? Good. Good. You say box, I like it. Thank you. We just trade and make it nice and easy now. Check. Check. Almost mate. Mate. That's what he deserves. So what we want to say about this game is it has a lot of features of mini games you're going to play in the future where you're going to see this kind of mistake from your opponent, right? Usually they're going to move too fast. This guy does not. But we want to say the mistake of hanging a pawn, just like this, right? And hanging several other things as well. That's going to be the main skill for you, is taking their free stuff and not hanging anything yourself. Okay, so well done. I liked it a lot. Let's go back. Boom, boom. And we have, next up, Scrata, and then the famous blue guitar gambit. So let's give Scrata a follow. And Scrata just joined pretty recently. And the French club, all right, we got 63 people. That club's slowly growing. That's nice to see. And Scrata doesn't have any games for us yet. Understandable, just joined the dojo. And so, Scrata, we hoping you're going to give us some games for the next time you graduate, probably sometime soon. Your scores over here indicate that you are ready, tactically anyway, to go to the next level. Okay, now we got Blue Guitar Gambit. Now, Blue Guitar Gambit is an interesting player in the dojo. We actually talk sometimes about Blue Guitar Gambit when we're in our dojo meetings, because there was a time where Blue Guitar Gambit was kind of stuck, and we were like, oh, we pay attention to the people who are stuck. We're like, is there something wrong with our program? You know, we'll take a look at anybody that's stuck. Let's read what he says. Glad to be moving up. I haven't taken advantage of much collaboration in the dojo this time around, but have focused on building a stronger calculation and evaluation base through tactics and focusing on classical games and analysis versus trying the program offerings. Getting some one-on-one coaching has been clarifying, credit to Sweat Gland here, and allowed me to focus on improving my play in a more focused and effective way. I'm looking forward to having new dojo challenges, and I'm committed to playing and collaborating more within the dojo in the new cohort. I'm truly grateful for the constant and helpful support from my cohort and above. The encouragement and support has helped me stay motivated. Special thanks to Sweat Gland, Walt, who is Wolson, P. Perez, we know that guy, and Luchek, and Timba. Timba, I haven't heard that name in a while. Your support and encouragement has made the difference. Thanks also to the dojo team, really dedicated and talented group of leaders and developers. Onward. Great Blue Guitar Gambit. This is very inspiring. So, he's retired over there in Dallas. Now, let me just say, as an old dude, it is harder to progress as an old dude, and it's more inspirational to me when I see a fellow old dude make the progress. So I just want to zoom out for a second. This man is working. This man is working. He has got himself a 7-hour goal for each week, and he is consistently hitting it, generally far above that 7 hours. You can see he's mostly focused, at least recently, on non-dojo tactics. That might be interesting what he's doing. Okay. And he's also playing quite a bit. You can see he's got 55 classical games in the last year. Okay, good. All right. The Blue Guitar Gambit. And as I remember right, the Blue Guitar Gambit was somebody who was in a deep slump, not a slump, but just a plateau at one point. But this one, you know, he's graduated already. It was November of last year that he graduated. So it's coming pretty well for the Blue Guitar Gambit. Okay. All right, so let's go games. Look at all these games he's got. Genius level. All right. Yeah. All right. So this is against a rando online. And what do we see? My friends, we see this often. The rando player that you play online is so distracted that they will only be making impulsive moves. And a simple way of progressing, you know, if you're interested in getting rating points, is just to be like, if I think and then they don't, it's not like I'm going to win every game, but yeah, I should be crushing. I should be crushing. All right, so here we go. Okay, fine. 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 Maybe you could play a bunch of different things. This is fine what you're doing. Little funky. Now, I'm impressed that you didn't play knight takes e4 because the d3 really constricted his own bishop. There's no reason to free the thing. I don't mind that move. Knight bd7 makes sense to me too. Fine. Okay. Fine. And not a good move. Now you got that bishop. And you say you're a little better. I agree. You're a little bit better. Okay. So c3, reasonable, but of course a loss of tempo. And now you play an interesting move, bishop f3. One of the first things I want to say here about Blue Guitar Gambit is he's not hanging anything, right? He's got to move 11. He hasn't hung anything. Very principled chess as well. So that's what we'd like to see. And he's right to criticize bishop f3. It's just unnecessary. The bishop on e2 is really White's worst piece, too. So when you take, you're going to at least give it a little bit of play. We got a very provocative thing in the chat. Says, I'm 22, FIDE 1400, want to become a FM. I can only spend 1 hour on chess per day. Please guide me. So in general, whether you were going to spend 300 hours a day or just one, we want to say that you're asking a lot and your first goal shouldn't be so high. You should say to yourself, okay, maybe FM. But first, like, can I go to 1500 in X amount of time? That would be the more interesting goal. And then you could get a better sense of what the next goal should be. 1500 will prove hard. 1600 will also prove even harder. But the simple answer is if you put an hour into the Dojo Training Program every day, 7 hours a week, yeah, you'd make really good progress. So, bishop f3, right, we're just helping him a little bit. What's the correct move? Castles. Castles, and then start putting a rook on d1, d8. You know. All right, so here we go. Bishops of opposite color. I'm going to go ahead and say I think the reason you took is because of this bishop g5, but it doesn't really do that much. All right. Weird. Rook b8. Weird. What do I want you to do? Castle. So notice we got to this stage of the game, and you are making a little bit random moves now. Okay, queen c7 is okay. g3 is actually a good move. He needs to put his pawns in the opposite color of his bishop. So his pawns control the dark, his bishop controls the light. Finally, thank you. Fine. Okay, take it. Oh, you don't like it. Okay, so notice the rook b8 thing was a waste of time. It seems to me, I would be worried anyway, doesn't dc win a pawn for white? b6, good. Now, let me just say, if this guy could think instead of moving instantly, they would have probably found d takes c5. Okay. So he's a traitor. And now bishop f6, you're going to win a pawn. That's probably also going to win a pawn. Fine. Now rook fd8 or bishop takes b2. I think I like rook fd8 better. Okay. Rook e6. And the reason I don't like it as much is now the dude can put the bishop here and look at f7, and it's a little mildly uncomfortable for you. Okay. In general, maybe controlling the 7th rank, rook e7 was stronger. Poor move. Yeah, rook c2 is definitely a thought. You, on the other hand, by the way, should be thinking about bringing your bishop to this square, so you're touching him here. It feels a little random to me. Okay. Good move. Okay. Frisky. Rook d8, and now he blunders, bishop f7. And now he's going to resign. So, notice, at this level, they will hang pieces, whether they take their time or not. But here's my opportunity to give the rant, okay? The rant is that to make it to 1250 ChessCom, which is 1000 dojo, you need 3 things, okay? Most important, to not hang stuff. They will hang stuff at this. At 1250, it stops being the way 99% of games are decided. Number 2, you need to learn to think. You can see this guy did not know how to think. It's a muscle. It has to be trained. It has to be built up. Number 3, you got to know how to develop. You see people here not developing their pieces, making rando threats. And even later in the game, once you understand development at the beginning, you'll be able to look at a position like this and say, well, what would it mean? What would development mean? And to my mind, it's like for white, it would be a rook on the 7th and a bishop on d5. For black, it would be maybe also rook on the 7th and a bishop looking at f2. Okay, well done. Let's continue. That's the Blue Guitar Gambit, man. That guy's the real deal. Here comes JW. This one seemed like it took a lot more effort than before. I've been focusing heavily on tactics and reducing my blunders. Good. Now, in general, the higher up you get, the more competitive it's going to be. Darn it, I blew it a little bit. And it will be harder. Okay. Also an old dude. Yeah. Played bad chess off and on most of my life. Recently took it up again and now addicted. The man is working. Look at this. Ba-bam. Started in September. Has graduated a number of times. And you could argue that no, it's basically a straight line. I'm seeing a straight line here for his progress. Right? Straight line. Looking good. Okay. His tactics scores are about the same, so that's good. About where he is. We look to improve those a little bit. The work is there. Let's see. We got some clubs. Detroit. Nice. And he's in our famous 50 plus. Now 215 members. Maybe I'm going to see this guy at some senior events. All right, let's look at this one. All right. Now we're going to say just optically, it's a little light on the annotations. Good use of time, however. Well done. Okay, this is a dojo round robin game. One of the great selling points, or the thing I want to sell you on, is the dojo round robin is going to give you better games, less cheaters, and the opportunity for a postmortem. You're just not going to get that when you play randos. When you play randos, you're going to get people like the last guy, not thinking at all. Okay. A little bit funky, but I know some people do this. All right. C5. In general, well, it's a pretty spicy move. All right. You play C3. Holy moly. Knight C6. And now E5. So what we've just done is we've created a bad French for us where they get the bishop out. And your pawn on F3 makes no sense. So if you're going to play F3, you want to leave the pawn on E4. All right, black is doing great. They obviously have a huge time advantage, a development advantage. Check, I don't like it. You can just play knight C3. They should have considered knight F5 there. Okay. Good move by your opponent. Okay. And then that's a superficial move. But you should definitely now have tried queen H3. I think it's that I called it superficial and now I'm taking it back. I'm doing a take back. I'm not sure this is actually a mistake. Because on G6, if you play queen H3, I don't think queen C5 is good because bishop E3, I got this coconut. And then if H5, then I can make a judgment call whether I want to play G4 first or bishop E3. All right, here we go. Knight F5. So it was weird. He just hacked the pawn. He was like, "Screw it, man. I'm tired." And now because the knight's on F5, we don't have bishop E3, unfortunately. I don't understand that move. Black's playing this kind of well. That wasn't it. Check to the miserable king. Oh, that was a good move. He's a little pawn grubby. Okay, it's at least fun. Now you say this is plus minus. Maybe it is. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, it's not plus minus. It's definitely hot though. So king H7 was played, and then he's going to run into knight G5. Notice he only spends a minute. Now it is a 30-minute game. He doesn't have forever. The defense would be queen E3, with the point that if queen H5, you have queen G1 exclam. And I think he's holding. All right, so now you got him. Great. Good. Good. Simple chess. No need to be a genius anymore. Good. You could do it both ways. Good. Easy chess. No reason to be a genius here. Thank you very much. Well done. Well done, sir. Well, good time management, the whole thing. In general, the problem with your game is that of development, and this is a line. I realize this is a thing, but notice that it's pretty funky, really, ultimately, to play F3. And if you don't have a handle on it, it's going to get weird, like C5, C3, where you're not really developing your coconuts, and then you play E5. Okay, so Well done here. We got Nick Stock. I don't think I've done so many people through the years. Let's give Nick a follow. Joined recently. 841. Great. Doesn't Nick, tell us something about yourself? We know that you're from down under. Okay. And now we don't have any games, Nick. Well, Nick, you just joined. You know what you need to do. Yeah. And this looks like you're ready to go up. This little number here. So, yeah, we need some games. But you just joined. Understandable. All right. Next up, we got William. William says, super happy with my progress. I found an awesome community of players in my city, and we play every Sunday at a local brewery. Highly grateful for all the amazing people I've met through chess so far. 23-year-old from Montreal. Okay, beautiful. 821, he's going up. The man is going up. He's got a very high tactics rating. We're going to expect to see him again. So, clubs, nothing. Games, we got some. And I encourage you, if you can, to play some of these people an OTB game when you're over there at your beautiful club. All right, a little too fast, but in general, it's okay. You're doing okay. All right, here we go. Find. Little frisky. Taking on f3 would be the safe way to play. Queen d2, that wasn't it. g4 knight e5 is the thing that scares a little bit. Good move. Okay. Poor. Thank you very much. Notice your opponent is not developing their pieces. Okay. This is what I don't like. Now notice, I get it. He's threatening a pawn. In the next two moves, you're going to lose a bunch of time. So just as a thought experiment, consider the move knight d7. They take, you get to develop another piece. And here we should play something like queen c7. Now we're loose over there. Loose as a goose. Now we're just hanging the pawn. He decides no, he doesn't want it. Okay. Now he takes it. It's like you threatened it and now he's going to dig it. Okay. Thank you, you said it. Good. It's getting a little spicy. Knight d5, I like it. Ooh, fancy. a6, good move. Now does b5 work? You got real fancy here. Okay, here we go, b4. This is a very interesting and challenging position. I don't know how to evaluate it at first glance. I can tell you, though, that if he takes like he does, then you're doing great. Then you're doing great. e1. Now, you played rook a8, and I think you missed that queen f5 immediately wins, but luckily for you, doesn't matter where he goes, you still got queen f5. You still got the whack attack. The whacker. There we go. Good move on his part. Wow. Okay. Let's just look for half a second here. Because it looks like the game should be over, but somehow it's not completely over. Queen f5, good move. It is completely over, isn't it? Now, you said check to the miserable king. Now, maybe, but it does worry us because you're giving the e6 weakness when you play f5. You have loads of other moves you could play. He's not doing anything to you, so you're not in any kind of hurry. Okay, you might still be doing great, but you can see why I'm concerned, right? That doesn't look right. Check. Ooh, dang. Check. Dang. Now, he plays queen d8. And you're saying that if rook b8, you have queen f3. Now, I just want to stress, I don't exactly know what's happening. So I do know that on king e5, there's queen e4. Do I know what's going on if king e6 happens? I don't know. I don't know. Woo. Now, let me just stress something. This rook e3, it probably is winning. But let's just note the obvious. You don't have to be a genius to win this one. Play rook e8, and then you can still mate him. There's no threats. White has no threats. So you're not in a rush to do anything fancy. All right, definitely rook b8. That was a blunder. Okay, good. Checked the miserable king. Good. Good. Thank you. There it is. Well done. Whew. That king e6, queen e4, it was at least the king f7 question there. All right. Amazing. I think this guy's got a lot of room to grow. I thought, for somebody in 800, 900 cohort, I thought it was pretty advanced. So I think we're going to see him again pretty soon. King f7, queen e8. You're probably right. There was also king c5 in addition to king e6. Good, the Arsenal fan. I think you're right. All right, not a blue whale. What does that mean? So we're going to give Not a Blue Whale a follow. They've graduated a bunch. They don't have many things listed, though. They haven't done anything. They're in the ADHD dojo. They do have a game. All right. So, ba-bam. We're going to call it a little too fast, but in general, okay. All right. A little funky, right? Thank you. Fine. Fine. Frisky. Maybe unnecessary. Now we're developing the rook. Now e5 looks more pertinent to me, but okay. Poor move, thank you very much. Now notice the knight isn't actually threatened here. So white should be considering, hey, is there some way I can play without losing my knight? Might be difficult. Anyways, that's definitely a thank you. Okay. Fine, I like your development. And your opponent does not know how to develop. Uh-oh. e6, good move. I'm not sure I understand a6. I don't understand that move. Okay. You play just king b8 like a normal person. Just king b8 like a normal person. I don't know what he's doing with his bishop moving all around town. I don't understand that. That's just giving me all these things for free. Yeah, that's some good bishops. When it comes to arrows, I don't always approve, but I like this one a lot. Check to the miserable king. Look at that. That's some nice arrows, bruv. So we're starting to see some good principled play as we're going up the dojo, right? Now he's at 900 and 1,000. And we're not even at 1,000 yet. All right, here we got the unicorn outpost. What does that mean? Like a special knight becomes a unicorn? We oftentimes will talk about, what do we call it? An octopus? Is that what we mean by a unicorn? I don't know. So, we got some games. Beautiful. And this one's recent enough. I'd like to see it a little bit more recent than this. All right. So, we're moving a little too fast. All right, a4 is kind of the standard thing, but I don't know if I want to criticize you for e3. e3 is not a dumb move. Good. Good. For example, many GMs have played this exact variation. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Good, I think you're playing fine. 95 Freaks me out a little bit. Castles is safer. That's weird. Seems like you could have just taken the thing and then put it on that F3. Now, yeah, what about, like, there's the Queen G2 question. It's just a natural question at this point. He plays knight E4, like, with 28 seconds. Buddy, think about it for a momentito. Oh, I like that. I approve that message. I approve of that message. I approve of that message. Good. Simple chess. I like it. Okay. Good. Oh, that wasn't it. Good move. Good move. Okay. You'd think, well, I don't know. It's hard to be him, though. It's hard to be him. Mate. That's what you get, buddy. Okay. So, well done. Basically, right, what do we need to do to graduate at this level? We need to take the free coconuts. And you took the free coconuts. Right. Yeah. I feel like the old timers had this position quite a bit. Okay, ba-bam. Now we got marsupial misconduct. Now that's a fun name. Been away from using the activity tracker for a while, but have been sticking with the material. Swapped to ChessCom ratings since I can't play in any tournaments from January till May, and I finished all the content in my cohort. Okay, let's go take a look. This is marsupial misconduct. We'll give him a follow. And yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a spot where he stopped doing it. Wow. Now, let me just say, this man to be starting just playing chess since April 25, that's amazing that you've gotten this far. So that's very impressive. As he said, he's going to take a pause with the USCF for a second. All right. Well, look at that. He's already ready to graduate again. This is a straight line up over here. Okay, clubs. Louisiana Dojo. That's right. Games. All right, good. This looks like we're getting our first OTB of the day. No times. Of course, we can do it. We can always put in our times. Let's go take a look at this game. Fine. Little weird, of course. Knight f6. And it's at least fun. It's at least fun what you're doing. Should he accept this gambit? I don't know. It looks dangerous to me. And that wasn't it. Choom. Knight e5. Very nice. That wasn't it. Checkmate. Welcome to the dojo. Man, that's a good one. Well done. Welcome to the dojo. That's what's going to happen to you, buddy. All right. Drone Didion. I kind of like that. Drone Didion. So, we're going to drone a follow. Adult learner from Sweden living in London. Okay. Great. All right. Oh, this is great. Okay, Four Corners Club. That seems fun. Okay. And one thing we'll say right away is you should definitely consider getting an ECF rating and putting it up here. And notice like the Lead Chess might be the Lead Chess. Oh, by the way, we are redoing our rating conversions as we speak. The goal is to have it done by the end of this month. And then we'll see. My suspicion is a lot of people are going to get moved around. Especially, well, we'll see. We'll see. There has been movement. Like the FIDE ratings have finally settled. You know, the Lichess, I think, is continued to inflate. So we'll have to see how that all looks when we break it down. All right. London, UK. Now, if you got some friends in that Four Corners Club, Drone, then I would want you to do a club here, because that would be cool if you got the old Four Corners Dojo Club. All right, some games. We got loads. Look at this. Oh, and here we're going to get a ECF game. Looking great. So, the Muswell Hill Chess Club. Oh, man, this is cool. All right. So, no times. Again, you can bring them in. It's very possible to do. All right, so here we go. Fine. Frisky. Good. Okay. So, the guy plays a6. And in my experience, this is hard for players, the white players, to play. This particular game, though, I feel reasonable about your chances just because, or rather your ability to play the position, because we got kind of a locked structure on the king side where you just get a little bit of space. Good. And now c5. All right. So you went for it with g6. I definitely think it's the most spicy move to consider. So let's go. f6. Well, now you know g6 was a good move. Now you know it was a good move. And this can't be right. So remember what I said. It's hard to play these positions for anybody, even GMs, because your position's all loosey-goosey. So you should definitely consider here castles long or knight e2. This isn't right. Now you're going to get whacked at some point with e5. Fine by black. Now this is a typical mistake, knight e7. Notice what is he doing? He's saying to himself, oh, I got to go win that, try to tickle that pawn. That pawn's not going anywhere, buddy. You need, Mr. Black, to think about fixing your king. So something like bishop takes, knight takes, queen e7, castles long, or queen e7 directly. Something to get that boy out of dodge. So not developing. Okay. Now I think chat wants you to play some version of e4. I'm with you. Then maybe we could have done it. Of course, we could have without this knight f4. b5, horrendous move. Horrendous move. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Here it comes. Okay. Now they steal it. Not a good move. Okay. Double. Oh, yeah, you needed the double. And now he gets away. It's at least fun until it's not. And now black is better. Reasonable. Okay. Knight f5, black is taking control. Maybe unnecessarily fast to play this move d4 because it gives you at least the e4 square. I don't understand. Why can't he play knight e3 here? Black's putting this game, I think, together pretty well here. Now that move I don't like. That knight on g5 is not as good as the knight on d4. But we should have taken that thing. We had a chance. Thing's a beast. He's getting real frisky. He doesn't know how to play the position just normally. He's freaking out. He's freaking out. Okay, now let's just say he misses a nice mate here. Queen c1, rook d1. We're in trouble though, aren't we? Queen c4 check. Picks up our business. Now your opponent, I thought, played pretty well. Might be, he's 1475 ECF, so a little higher rated. All right, now we're toast. Yeah, well done. Okay, so one of the things that we've seen again and again is when players play this Yobava London, it oftentimes it becomes too hard for them. But ultimately, that's not the reason we should blame this game. Right? The real problem was losing focus with the control of our opponent's pieces. And your opponent did too. He made some crazy moves like b5, opening himself up unbelievably. Okay, so that was the famous Anton Westbourne. And now we got Mind Blown. Field Sacks is the one. Field Sacks, and there's another guy who are out. There's a guy, George, who doesn't want to go today. He's down there. So we got two people that aren't going to do anything. I'm beginning to doubt whether I'm getting this all done. We'll see. Mind Blown says, playing slower games is extremely helpful. I have so much I want to do, but taking time and eventually thinking deeper about a position is to the best of my ability helps the most. All right. So Mind Blown seems like they joined fairly recently. Clubs, games, they got a game. This is Mind Blown. And this is too lightly annotated, Mind Blown. Too lightly, but I get it. You just joined the dojo, and we're going to see you again soon because you're graduating like your progress is incredible. So do a little work on the heat map and give us a game. Next up, we have Husky Dog. What does Husky Dog have to say? Husky Dog is doing a lot of work. We're going to give him a follow. This looks like they've graduated twice over here. They are in the right cohort, though. And we got some clubs. No. Games. The Husky Dog don't have no games. So, Husky Dog, welcome to the dojo. Hopefully we'll get some games from you soon. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. All right, my friends, we are back. Next up, we have Ryland. Ryland says, I felt like I had a decent last game. The Mastery of Chess Timing Chessable course from GM Jesse introduced new concepts to me about controlling the board. The first two chapters I've gone through cemented the value of why getting pieces out early helps. This is my first graduation. I had lots left to do in the previous cohort. I'm positive I'll be in the next cohort for a while. Well, thank you very much. I worked hard on that course. It's good to have some positive feedback. We're going to give Ryland some follow here. Yeah, it looks like he hit it and then fell back down. But you know, that's part of life. Sometimes you fly back down. He's an Anglican priest. Wow, okay. Fun to see all the different people we got in here. Now I was just looking if he had a priest dojo, you know. That could be a club of priests. All right, here's Ryland. He's got some games. And boom. All right. So, want to slow down. Slow down. Good. And keep my tempi in check. All right, let's take a look at the time. Oh. So, very important to say that whatever we talk about here in this game pales in importance to this here, that you're moving too fast. Okay? Let's keep it open as a time graph and just reflect a little bit. Fine. Poor, not developing. Good. Good. Fine. Beautiful. Now maybe a little funky, right? Now, when we get to a position where we, are almost kind of out of the what you call regular developing moves or whatever you want to call them, that's when we often make a mistake like d5. You mentioned knight e4. I also like queen d2. Maybe you're even threatening to take. I don't know. It's also just a developing move. Yeah, I'm with you. I think e5 is better. Good. Poor. Should take with a queen so that their d pawn doesn't fall. You said thank you very much. Good move. Now you went back. I think that's okay. Knight b5. Now, from the perspective of development, we would want to see the rook come out to one of these two squares. Okay, good move by your opponent, I guess. Knight d5. Bishop c4, good. Notice a6 does not help. The bishop was not a great piece on b5. It is a good piece on c4. And now look at this bad boy. Bang! Check to the miserable king. Oh, very nice. Very nice. You know, there is a similar tactic in what's called Chess Tactics from Scratch. Well, I guess I should say there's this tactic in Chess Tactics from Scratch where the rook isn't hanging, but it's still mate after queen d5. This is fundamentally about the rook, but this is great. Now notice, one of the cool things about the course that I did was I said, look, the players you're going to play at this level, 1200, 1300, dojo, so that's higher chess.com and much higher lead chess. The players at this level are going to give tempi away like a madman. When they give tempi away, that's when you want to look to finish them off. And hark, hark! What is this a6 and b5? No one knows what it did. All right. Knight d6, good move. Check to the miserable king. Thank you very much. Queen d5, simple chess. That wasn't it. All right, look at that. Mastering Time and Chess course was instructive for this game. I can't tell you how nice it is to hear some positive feedback. Now again, you got to slow down. That's your main next quest. Is if you can slow down, your game you'll just be making better moves, and the work you do when you think will be the main driver of your chess improvement. So we're going to skip Field Sachs because he is in the Game and Profile Review group, and he's doing great, but he wants to do an annotation for me. So I said, all right, we'll hold off. And Caps Chess has a special game, and I think I know where to find it. But first, let's read what Caps Chess says. As much as I love the Dojo Training Program and everything involves, I've been having a personal issue with how I split my time on chess. I keep playing somewhat pointless 10-minute rapid games for hours on end, rack up a lot of games and very slow progress. My latest round in the Austrian League and the realization that I only won 30% of my games against pretty comparable opponents level-wise led to an entire shift in focus for me, and now I set achievable goals in terms of how much time I spend on sweat work every single day. I will play in dojo tournaments as long as some other open tournaments and the Austrian League, and will drastically reduce the amount of rapid games that don't bring anything apart from the satisfaction of rating gain or the frustration of rating loss. I also made a friend at my university's chess club who is rated 1900 and open to help me with sparring algorithms as well as joining me and traveling together and playing in open tournaments. Cool. We have never played against each other in a classical game, but I have invited him to it, and I will continue to train alongside him besides everything else the program offers. I hope that I can start building a bulletproof plan based on these moral foundations to follow the program more and stop wasting hours on end on spamming the play game button. Can't wait to see where this new perspective takes my chess career. Great. I have a student who he's about 2100 chess.com, and he's got a real addiction to that 10-minute thing. It's for him, I think what it is, it's like he's going about his day, and he has a moment. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna play this 10-minute game to relax. And it's a relaxing thing to do in the same way that somebody might, play a video game or something like that. It's kind of fun. But right, it's not gonna do it. Right, it's not gonna do it. All right, now Caps Chess wrote me on Discord, and he asked me to look at a game, so I will do so. All right, here we go. This is the game he wants to look at. First, we got some clock. Well done. Now, so look, this is a real game. It's the first long game we have today, the graduation show. And, this is the kind of thing he needs to do to make progress. So this is great. He's playing a higher rated dude. Great. Okay. Good. Fine. Little funky. You could play d4 or bishop c4. Okay, good. Now he loses his mind and plays h6. Now, as the previous person said, hey, it's a really good thing if you can take advantage of time that is lost. Now, the standard way of taking advantage of this is to play rook e1, knight d2, knight f1, knight g3, and break the pin. Queen b3, though, might also be a thought. All right, so here we go. Boom. Fine. So now you do it, but now I'm not sure you're getting away with, like, if he castles. I guess. It's a very fancy move. Yeah. All right. So your queen b3 was a little late in general. And notice that really he could have even played like a queen c7 or queen d7, and he's still threatening the knight a5 stuff. So that is very clever. Let's show everybody what the issue is. This is a very standard trick. Okay. So d4, I think you need to move the queen somewhere. Right? Good move. This guy's putting together a pretty good game. Queen d3 looks more natural to me, but okay, queen e2. I don't know about b5. I don't know about b5. That's spicy. So, interesting position. Is there anything wrong with knight d2? Seems to me like you're going to play rook c8 soon. Okay. Hard to judge this position. Notice your opponent wasn't developing. Now you played rook c1, I get it. Rook a d1 looks pretty good too. Poor move. Why not? Not developing. Now you got very fancy here with bishop b6. I'm not sure what it does. I like what you said, a feel-good move. Now, in your annotations, you really, really, really want to come up with something else, right? Queen d2 comes to mind. Queen d3, rook fd1. All of these moves are candidate moves. All right. Okay. Bishop d4. Here he comes, bishop g5. Now, you criticize bishop e3, but isn't it true that f4 has a problem to queen takes e4, right? Because if f3, you got queen here. So I think this is okay. And now he's stealing a pawn from you. So we're in trouble, right? So bishop g5 was fine. In this position, you're still fine. I think b3 makes a lot of sense. Right? You're doing okay. All right. He could have taken on d4 and also a2. He didn't even have to be that fancy. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. And now f4, missing d takes e4. Now you are in a little trouble, but I like your variation. Good move by your opponent. Interesting. Okay. Reasonable. I don't know. Maybe. There's no rush for him to play rook d5. This looks bad, doesn't it? That's bad. So, hard to even say like what the intention is. We should analyze it like, why wouldn't this move be winning? That's, I don't know, looks winning. You offered him a draw. He said, no way, buddy. You said, no, I really want the queen trade. Now he takes it. Definitely f5 is now the issue. Okay. Now we don't want to play h4. f5, rook h7. And here I don't think you should agree to a draw. It is a draw, but I don't think you should agree to one. His king is totally whacked out, and you have thoughts of advancing the b pawn. So no draw. No draw from here. All right. So, am I frozen? I think I'm fine over here. Okay. So, good annotations. I do have to go kind of soon. So, that was Cap's chess. And did I look at the profile? Look at that. Green in Linz, Austria. I went to Austria a little bit, but I was never in Linz. Okay. Beautiful. All right, my friends, I think we're going to do one more, and then I'm both out of time and cooked. So here we go. This is Tapioca King. Tapioca King is a famous member of the dojo. Let's read what he says. I was going to wait until my chess comm caught up to 1350, but it's clear that right now I can't play fast enough in 1510. So I'm putting that to one side and resume focusing on classical time controls again. Good. Having said that, I've managed to break 1800 elite chess and have had some great games against serious opponents in the dojo round robins and as a member of the Jesse's Coconuts team on elite chess ladders. It's time to move onwards and upwards. I've been trying to grind out the tactics books to make up for my weak board vision and feel like my tactical mistakes are more often a couple ply deeper than before. And I just want to say what's interesting with these game and profile review groups that we're doing is, and it applies to the graduation show too, under 1250, the mistakes that decide a game are generally one ply. That is, somebody is hanging a piece outright. And then now when I'm in the slightly higher groups and we're analyzing those games deeply, what we're seeing is, right, it's like a two-ply thing, right? It's not that much deeper, but it is a big difference when you think about it. And of course, just imagine, you could think about calculation errors all the way up to the World Championship. It's still like a ply question. Now, sometimes it's just one move. Sometimes it's just one move. But often it could be described as a ply question. I say one move because sometimes there's just a miraculous, amazing move that can happen, right? Okay, but at this level, what we're talking about is people hanging stuff, and is it a one-ply or a two-ply hang? And at this level, at 12 to 1300, dojo, which is, of course, like 1500 chess.com, you know, it's going to be more of a two-ply thing. Mastering time in chess, oh, I'm getting a lot of shout outs today, has helped me pick up on opportune moments more often than before, but I'm still going strong on spending time trying to calculate only to play the wrong move. For example, today I played a 15-10. You need to play longer. And he's up 2 tempi, and I spent 90 seconds calculating as I knew bishop e7 isn't the move. I ended up playing queen g4. Okay, so let's go take a look at Tapioca King here, and that will close out today. So as you can see, the man is really working. He has graduated 4 times since joining the dojo. Okay. Maybe is even in the chat. We'll see. All right. And Chess Tactician on YouTube, I haven't been looking too much over there because it's been a little sparse on the YouTube, but he just joined, so that's a cool thing. All right, here's Tapioca King, and going up everywhere. Doesn't yet have an OTB. That could be an aspirational thing for him. Clubs, the Knows All crew. That's a good one. And he's over there in the UK. And we got a game. So let's go see. Maybe we'll have a sense of this question of the ply question. This one looks recent. Let's take a look here. He's playing the loser at life. All right, first, let's see. Now, as you might expect, someone whose name is loser at life is probably going to be moving too fast, right? And that's what we're seeing right here. All right, here we go. Fine. Everything looking good so far. This is very fancy. And C takes d5. I can't complain about that. Now here c6 makes a lot of sense. And notice it's not just protecting the pawn, you're also dominating the knight. So white really has a real problem there. All right, white has some interesting questions. He goes here. Now, I would be a little concerned with bishop f6, knight d5. Looks better for white to me, but okay. d4. In general, not what we want to do because now we lose all of those light squares. Knight e4, good move. Bishop b7. He needs a... I sense that he has a good move here. I haven't found it yet. Knight f6, I don't think that was it. A reasonable try for white would be bishop takes, queen h5, and let's say g6, and then cruise this queen over here, something like that. Looks good for white. a5 is also a good haunt for the queen. That doesn't look good. And he just wants to trade everything off. Okay. Fine. Okay. c5, good move. Now, you want to be making a building move here. Rook d8. I don't mind rook d8. I don't mind that move. Okay. You want to make a building move. Rook b6. Now, what I mean by building move is a lot of times in positions like this, people start making superficial moves to attack something, like rook b6, rook a6. That doesn't do anything. So a good building move would be g6. Looks like a good building move, right? Okay. And white is also just like, oh, let me threaten something. Let me threaten something. I like threatening things. So yeah, just random moves, and this is what we get when they don't think. Good move, I think. Okay, good move. Okay, and now you played king f8. Now, the move which looks very painful for white is queen d2. You will win. You've won the battle of the e-file after queen d2. This is what I mean by building move. I don't like king f8. E1 or D1, right? I don't understand queen G6. Why can't we put our queen onto D2? All right, now we took, and that's controversial because now you've activating the rook on C1. All right, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And they're going to draw this game. All right, so Tapioca King, couple things. At this level, Mastering Time in Chess, they're going to give you tempi. The guy gave you tempi. One of the ways they give you tempi is they make random threats. You were also a little bit guilty of making random moves yourself. Right? Yeah, and I think this is an example. There's many examples, but this D4 move and Bishop E7 are examples of moves where you didn't feel that you needed to constrain the knight. So like C6, after C6, the white knight really has a lot of questions about what they want to do in life. After D4, it's like, oh, I don't have any questions anymore. I've kind of figured it out. Okay, oh, I got to run.